A taste of Irish tradition and a whole lot more. You're listening to Ceol Agus Craic, Real Irish Radio, with your host, Ed Leen.
Good morning and welcome to Ceol Agus Craic. As this week comes to a close, we are all still grieving for our best friend, Eamonn O'Loghlin. The news of Eamonn's death shocked his many friends around the world. We got messages of sympathy from as far away as India, and they got the sad news from friends in Australia. Eamonn touched thousands of lives, and that was shown on Tuesday, when over 2,000 people attended his visitation at the funeral home. Some waited up to 2 hours in the lineup, but true to Eamonn's love of music and the help of modern technology, Eamonn played the piano for 6 hours while the crowds filed past. On Wednesday, his funeral at Transfiguration Church was equally amazing. The service was conducted by Father Jerry Scott. Michael Hurley delivered an extremely moving eulogy, portraying all aspects of Eamonn's personality. It's hard to believe one man was involved in so many Irish and Canadian organisations, and not just a member, but the backbone of most. Etna Heffernan and Colin Wilkinson gave wonderful performances, and his good friend Henry Garrity played the tin whistle as the remains were removed from the church. The Irish ambassador to Canada, Mr. Ray Bassett, was one of the many who attended. I have a thank you from the O'Loghlin family. Madeleine wishes to extend her great heartfelt gratitude on behalf of herself, Rory, Tressa and Ed Pendergast to everyone who showed so much sympathy and support to them. They know Eamonn's passing has been a great shock to the whole Irish community as it's been to the family, and I wish to thank you all for the overwhelming love you have shown for Eamonn during these sad days. Eamonn had 2 marriages in his life. His 37 wonderful years with his loving wife Madeleine, and his marriage to the Irish community. Thank you, Madeleine, for sharing him with us. Hugo Strani on his show last Sunday covered the Irish business community. On today's show, we will reach out to the people who were closest to Eamonn. Eamonn, the loving husband to Madeleine, the doting father to Tressa and Rory, loving father-in-law to Ed, great son-in-law to Eleanor Tracy, whom Eamonn loved, and the many of us for over 30 years who enjoyed Eamonn as our closest friend. Also on today's show, we have entertainment news from our sponsors around town, even though we may have to cut it short today. The news from Ireland with Desmond Devoy, and the Guinness Community Calendar of Events. Please stay with us for the hour and enjoy the show.
The Quinn family invite you to visit downtown Toronto's oasis of Irish hospitality at the Irish Embassy, 49 Yonge Street at Wellington, and PJ O'Brien's at 39 Colborne, just behind the King Edward Hotel. The Irish Embassy, a landmark of classic architecture, is your downtown destination for drinks, snacks, lunch, or dinner. Call 416-866-8282. And just around the corner, enjoy the local pub atmosphere of PJ O'Brien's, serving the best in pub fare and also your downtown venue for an intimate evening dinner. PJ's has live music every Friday and Saturday night. Call PJ's at 416-815-7562.
At PJ's this weekend is Fiddlesticks, and next weekend it's Mark Jacob Band. And now a word from Kempfil Travel. KempfilTravel.com or IrishTravel.com have exclusive tours with savings of up to $200 per couple. Danil O'Dannell, August the 16th to 27th. Unforgettable Ireland, September the 20th to 27th. Live Live Like a Lord, April the 2013. Irish Pub and Folk Tour, plus much, much more. Call Kemfel at 416-489-2424 or 1-866-887-0865.
For over 12 years now, the Belfast Lounge has been the go-to place in Mississauga for great food, great ambiance, and a traditional Irish welcome. Located at 5165 Dixie Road at Aimco, just north of Eglinton, Colin McCullough and his staff will be pleased to welcome you to an Irish bar and restaurant that evokes memories of some of Ireland's great classic pubs. You can choose your spot at the bar, dine in the comfortable restaurant section, or just stretch your legs in the cozy lounge area. The cuisine of Executive Chef Colin is renowned, whether you are dropping in for a fast pub grub lunch or a more leisurely evening dinner with family and friends. We look forward to seeing you at the Belfast Lounge, an Irish oasis in Mississauga. Call us at 905-212-9048 for group bookings or to find out our upcoming entertainment schedule. We're located at 5165 Dixie Road at Aimco, just north of Eglinton Avenue.
We have on the line one of Eamon's best friends, Henry Garrity. Good morning, Henry.
Hello, Ed. How are you? Yeah.
Good morning, Henry.
Yeah, I'm here at the moment, Ed. Yeah, I'm just waiting to get a lift over to the airport. Edna Heffernan from the community, who you mentioned on the programme, who sang and played the harp, she's actually kindly offered to deliver me out to the airport because I'm heading back to Ireland. Are you there, Ed?
Yes, go ahead, Henry.
Yeah.
I have difficulty hearing you, but you go ahead and do your thing.
Yeah, as I said, I'm heading for the airport and catching a flight down to Newark and over into Shannon, so I'll be home tomorrow morning. So yeah, it's been a very hard week. So
He doesn't have to, okay, buddy.
Can't say much, really more than that, you know. Is there anything particular Ed you wanted to ask me?
He's asking if you have anything particular that he wants to ask, that you want to ask.
No, but Henry, we appreciate you coming over, and I know it was a very sad time for you because I know that Eamonn was one of your best friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear?
Well, Eamonn was my closest friend, there's no doubt about that, and I would hope that he would consider me likewise. To be honest with you, like, I know back in Ireland that I will find Eamonn's spirits in many places, particularly in County Clare and Ennistimon and North Clare and Doolin and up around Fanore and maybe even the Cliffs of Moher. And I know that come the spring I'll make my way back down to County Clare and hope to find Eamonn's spirits there. It's time for me now to be heading home.
Thank you, Eamonn, and we are Henry, and we'll certainly play one of your songs later.
Thank you, Ed, and thank you for calling me Eamonn, because it's a pleasure to be called Eamonn. So
yeah.
I used to call Eamonn, I used to call Eamonn Horse, and he used to call me Sham. So the last message I got from him was on Boxing Day to wish me luck on that particular day. So he wished me luck and signed himself off as Horse, and yeah, I'm going to hold on to that message as long as I can, on my cell phone. All right. Okay. So thanks, Ed, and thanks to everybody. And it's just great in so many respects to see so many people that I haven't seen for 15, 16 years. But it always takes something like this to bring the people out. And so there you go. So listen, Ed, I won't delay any longer. And thanks very much, Ed. Okay.
Okay. Good luck.
Bye bye.
I first met Eamonn O'Loghlin in Eaton's in Oshawa in the late 70s. At the time, he and Madeleine had just arrived in Toronto. They attended a play by the Toronto Irish Players. The play was Hyson Halvey. I was Hyson. A few days later, I was taken by surprise when in Eaton's office somebody shouts at me across the room, "How's Hyson?" That led to a long life friendship. Eamonn joined the Toronto Irish Players the next year, and that led to the folk group Tip Splinter, which we will get into later. Here is Eamonn's favourite singer, Madeleine O'Loghlin, Fair and Tender Maidens.
Come all ye fair and tender maidens, take warning how you court your men. Their at the falling of your arms, that the sun rose in the west. If I'd have known before I courted that love it was such a caring thing, I'd have locked my heart in a box of golden and fastened it with a silver pin. I wish I was a little sparrow, and I had wings, and I could fly. I'd fly away to my own true lover, and when he'd speak, I would be nice. But I am not your little sparrow. I have no wings, nor can I fly. I'll sit right down in my grief and sorrow, and let my troubles pass me by. Come all ye fair and tender maidens, take warning how you court your men. They're like a storm on a summer's morning. First they appear, and then they're gone.
Now we have Esther, the director here of Fairchild Radio, to say a few words.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Esther Kwong. I'm the International Language Program Manager of Fairchild Radio Toronto. It is really sad to hear about Eamonn's passing. Eamonn is a great man. He has done so much for his community. He's been doing radio programs with us for more than 12 years. And, once again, he has really done a lot of work for the Irish community. On behalf of Fairchild Radio, we convey our condolences to his family and his friends. Well, Eamonn, you're always in my heart and in our hearts.
And now we have Desmond Devoy with the news from Ireland.
Thank you very much for that, Ed, and good morning, folks. Desmond Devoy here with the news from Ireland for this week. And here are the top stories that are making headlines. Our top story this morning. Well, Taoiseach Eamon Gilmore went up against the most unlikely of political rivals this week, Pope Benedict XVI. It's unusual for a foreign head of state to weigh in on the domestic politics of a sovereign country, but the Pope has stated his position in the ongoing debate over Ireland's new abortion laws, which went before an Oireachtas Health Committee this week. In his annual keynote address to the Vatican's diplomatic corps, the Pope said that he had noted, quote, with dismay that in various countries, even those of Christian traditions, efforts are being made to introduce or expand legislation which decriminalizes abortion. The Pope added that direct abortion was contrary to moral law. Vatican insiders have confirmed that the apparent reference to the Republic of Ireland was intentional. Gilmore said that he disagreed with the Pope's criticism of Ireland. The Labour Party leader said that women were entitled to legal clarity and, quote, more than understanding and mercy. Meanwhile, Labour Centre Ivana Basic accused Ireland's Catholic bishops of opposing the new legislation on the basis of, quote, misogyny towards women, defined as hatred of women by men, and by belief in the, quote, innate deceitfulness of women. She was speaking on the final day of the Oireachtas here into the legislation to allow for abortion when a mother's life is in medical danger. Father Timothy Bartlett responded to the attack at the committee meeting by saying that he had never been labelled a misogynist before and asked speakers to avoid creating, quote, caricatures of which people did not reflect their true stance. The bishop said this week that there was no need for abortion legislation and that they were opposed to the deliberate killing of an unborn baby. A Red C poll out this week shows that 35% support the government's decision to bring the law in. It also found 29% support for legalizing abortion in any case where a woman requests it. About 26% would prefer a new referendum to limit the scope of the law by removing the threat of suicide as a basis for the termination of a pregnancy. Only 8% polled are opposed to any legalization of abortion. And breaking news for you right now, a national bus strike has been averted. Workers at Bus Éireann had been due to walk off the job starting tomorrow morning and Thursday, but after 12 hours of negotiations yesterday at the Labour Relations Commission in Dublin, the unions and management have agreed to take their dispute to the Labour Court next week. Wheels will continue to roll on the company's buses, but the company's cuts to overtime, lower leave entitlements, bringing in longer working hours for some pay grades, and cuts to premium and shift payments will be put on hold. They were due to come into effect tomorrow. The company is seeking 20 million euros in savings, with 11 million euros in cuts to operations and 9 million euros in cuts to payroll in order to avert a 16 million euro loss. The company's 900 bus drivers, including members of the National Bus and Rail Union, voted 92% in favour of industrial action this week, while Transport Salaried Staff Union members voted 72% in favour of the action. And there you go, folks. A lot of stuff to get back to in Toronto. That was the news from Ireland this week. So now you're up to date. Now it's back to Toronto with Ed Leen, Alex Young and Ceol Agus Craic. So until next week, folks, slán go foil.
Eamonn thoroughly enjoyed life to the fullest, and so did we, his friends. In the 80s we all had good jobs, we made good money and we spent it. For 20 years it was the cottages at Balm Beach, where we all really enjoyed life, and watched the O'Loghlin kids, the Walsh kids and the Gleeson kids grow up. We were all one big family. Here is Madeleine O'Loghlin and Etna Heffernan with Steal Away.
Let's steal away, no reason left to stay. For me and you, let's start anew, and darling, steal away. Let's steal away and chase our dreams. Hope they'll never find us. Through weary days, the empty nights, we'll leave them all behind us. Let's steal away, no reason left to stay. For me and you, let's start anew, and darling, steal away. We'll leave behind the empty streets, the gloom and desolation, the rain, the cold, just growing old. God knows it's a hard old station. Let's steal away, no reason left to stay. We have to choose to win or lose. It's time we started winning. Let's steal away, no reason left to stay. For me and you, let's start anew, and darling, steal away. For me and you, let's start anew, and darling, steal
You can't beat the Irish, and you can't beat a bit of home when looking for quality Irish goods. For over 10 years, our massive selection, convenience, and service have made a bit of home the choice for shoppers across Canada and the USA seeking Irish quality and uniqueness. But don't just take our word for it. Drop into our store at the Tompkins Shopping Centre at the corner of Rathburn Road and Tompkin in Mississauga. We're open Tuesday through Sunday for your convenience. If surfing the net is your thing, visit our online store open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at abitofhome.ca. Celebrating 10 years of quality and uniqueness, A Bit of Home, purveyors of Irish and British goods. And of course we go to the Galway Arms as well, located at 840 the Queensway. Is your home away from home? It's in Toronto's East End. To get the entertainment and sports lineup, please call the Keane family at 416-251-0096. That's 416-251-0096 or galwayarms.ca. And don't forget that rugby, the Six Nations, will be on live at the Galway Arms starting February 2nd. Breakfast will be served at 10 a.m. on match days. Over to you.
Another 20 years was spent with the folk group Tip Splinter, where Eamonn O'Loghlin was the lead singer. We all followed Tip everywhere, all over Ontario, with great memories of summers at Harbourfront. Tip travelled also across Canada, visited the US and Ireland, and we, the groupies, were there. Eamonn was a part-time member, especially if there was a piano on stage. Here is Tip Splinter with Henry Garrity, McRory.
I took the train to Belfast, first time in 15 years, to see my friend McRory and enjoy the crack on beers. Nostalgia made me mellow, and the whiskey brought the tears. When the barman said, McRory, haven't seen him round for years. Oh, where is he now, said I to him. Where is the friend of mine? Oh, the hard man that once sang the sash in Saskatchewan's cold line. Where is the Broddy Waddy that took the plane with me far away from Belfast daydreams in the year of 63? I took the train to Belfast, first time in 15 years, to see my friend McRory and enjoy the crack on beers. Nostalgia made me mellow, and the whiskey brought the tears. When the barman said, McRory, haven't seen him round for years. Oh, where are you now, McRory? We never did see eye to eye when we traded friendly insults and were not afraid to cry. a pipished and a proddy, and all we had was snow. Two Irishmen so different in a land we didn't know. I took the train to Belfast, first time in 15 years, to see my friend, my Rory, and enjoy the crack and beers. Nostalgia made me mellow, and the whiskey brought the tears. When the barman said, my Rory, haven't seen you around for years. Oh, he's been gone since 80, said a doctor drinking brew, on a promise to Australia. There was no one left here that he knew. The guns and bombs fair broke his hearts, not knowing right from wrong. I was silent to the station, there was more than McRory gone. I took a train to Belfast, first time in 15 years, to see my friend McRory and enjoy the crack and beers. Nostalgia made me mellow, and the whiskey brought the tears. When the barman said, McRory, haven't seen around for years.
Ina, good morning.
Morning, Ed.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing not so badly, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you for calling in. You must have fond memories of Eamonn.
Well, I have a lot of memories of Eamonn, I have to say. I've had quite a bit of, and I've been fortunate enough to have quite a bit of involvement with him through the music organisation Cultus.
Yes.
And I have to say, at the conventions, we've had some laughs, and what he has generated among a crowd of people is just something that I don't believe anybody else could do.
That's true.
He always made himself known as soon as he got there. Anybody who wore a name tag, they got called by their first name for the entire weekend. And as the hotel staff would go through, they spoke to Eamonn personally. That's just how he was. Aside from all of that, I mean, he has left a huge void. I don't suppose that anybody else, and there are a lot of people who have contributed greatly to the Irish community and to other organisations, I don't suppose anybody can pick up the pieces where he left off.
No, and I must say that he loved Cultus, Kiltari Aaron.
Absolutely. I have him smiling at the same time, and I'm feeling really sad because we're heading out to a convention in Washington in April. And though he hasn't been on the committee, he has never been absent.
Yeah.
And I just found out that he already did some publicising for that convention.
Okay.
Even though they don't know him.
Yeah.
But they got his name through other means. And I believe that he has done some work in publicising their upcoming event. And they have sent out 2 packages to Eamonn as a compliment. And I believe he did say that he wasn't going to attend this year because if he had his surgery, he was going to sit back and relax. And
yeah.
Unfortunately, I guess that has come to fruition now.
I know. Ina, we will have you playing some music later. And thank you for calling in. We really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much, Ed.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Joan Tierney.
Okay. Good morning, Joan. Good morning, Joan.
Heavy heart that I'm talking to you today.
You're talking to Ed at an Eamonn show, and you're calling us from Cooley's House Pub in Innistimon, is that right?
That's correct, Ed, yes.
Well, we appreciate a connection to Innistimon today.
Well, it's with a very heavy heart that I'm talking to you. We're very upset over Eamonn.
Yeah, you have very fond memories, I'm sure.
We have very fond memories of him indeed, yes. We were looking forward to his next visit in September.
Yeah, he was going over with 20 golfers in September. It was a big outing.
That's correct, yes, and he had sent me the itinerary. And we celebrated his 60th birthday here in the pub, and we had a wonderful time with him.
Yes, thank you.
And he had a great time this September as well. It was just, it's such a shock.
Now, is there a piano in the pub?
No, we don't have a piano in our bar, but he was very fortunate while he was here this time. He did go to Lisdonvarna. Lisdonvarna is a village not far from Innistimon, and they have a matchmaking festival.
Okay.
And he did go there for an afternoon with his friend Henry, and there was a piano in the bar. And when he came back that evening, he said he had the most wonderful time because he played the piano all afternoon in the bar.
Oh, that was great. That was Eamonn, yeah.
That's what Eamonn loved to do. He loved to sing song.
He did, yeah. Now he loved to golf as well, of course.
He loved the golf, yes, he did, yes. He had his itinerary booked. He had his for next year. He was having his golf in Lahinch. Lahinch is a links course.
Yeah.
And he had that booked, and he had all different parts in Ireland booked for his game of golf.
Yeah,
indeed.
indeed.
Doonbeg booked as well. He was going to Dingle. He was taking the people to Dingle. He was taking them up to Connemara.
Wonderful.
He had the whole itinerary booked. Ed, I have some people here with me that I'd like to pay tribute to Eamonn as well.
Okay.
I have Con. He's a very old friend of, a dear friend of Eamonn's.
Okay.
One second, Ed.
Okay.
How are you, Ed? How are things?
Very good. Go ahead. Tell us what your memories of Eamonn.
Well, my memories of Eamonn, I was a couple of years behind him in school, and I know all his family here. I'm in Innistimon, born and reared man, and I'm an army man, military, like my dad was, and he always referred to me when he walked into Cooley House with Smithy and all the lads as well. The colonel is here, our things. I'm not a colonel, obviously, but just a military background, and from then on, the waist, the crack, everything started, you know, and sing song, and I often travelled to Doolin with him for an evening.
Very good.
And had a night out, and obviously then there'd always be a night before he went back here in Cooley House. And
well, he certainly had friends wherever he went.
Oh, definitely, 100%, you know, and the one thing I'd always respected and remember him for, he never forgot the small town of Innistimon.
No, he never did. Actually, he mentioned that numerous times here on this radio show. I thank you people for calling in. I really appreciate it. But we have a lot of people calling in today, and we know you loved Eamonn. And
no problem.
Thanks
well
again.
Deserved. Thank you very much. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hello, Ed.
All right, and on the line, Ed, we have Kitty Freely. Kitty, good morning to you. Thank you for calling in. I'm going to pass you over to Ed.
Good morning, Kitty. I think you're probably a wonderful break for us this morning, because I know you have good news, as you are the chairperson of the Ireland Person of the Year.
That is correct, Ed. Yes.
And of course, Eamonn was that person a few years ago.
Yes, he was in 2009, Ed, and he's the other radio hosts were Irish Persons of the Year in 2009.
Yeah.
And it is hard to believe that 3 years later we're talking like this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and it has been a very sad week for the entire Irish community.
It has indeed.
And I'm trying, and like the whole community, I'm trying to come to terms with the sudden loss of Eamonn, who was a dear friend and a irreplaceable member of our Irish community.
Indeed, Kitty.
He will be deeply missed.
He will indeed.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family.
Thank you. And now, you had a tough job in choosing an Irish Person of the Year, because there are a lot of people out there who probably qualify.
That is correct, Ed, and I am pleased to announce that the award this year goes out to Toronto's only Irish community theatre group, the Toronto Irish Players.
Well, That is wonderful news, as I am a founding member.
Yes, that is correct, yes. And the Toronto Irish Place, of course, are well known in the Irish community. They have been promoting our Irish heritage and culture for almost 38 years.
That's right, indeed.
And it all started back in March 1975 at the old Irish Immigrant Aid Society Centre in Lansdowne, when the founding members got together to discuss the possibility of giving our Irish actors the opportunity to display their acting talents and showcase the riches of our culture.
Yeah, it was Jerry Kenny at the time who put the Toronto Irish Players together, and we had our first meeting in Jerry Crow's house.
Yes.
And that was in 1975. And you know, Eamonn O'Loghlin, that was the first Irish organisation he joined, and he became a member, and in the late 70s he and I were in the play Big Maggie.
Yes, yes.
So
yes.
that is very fitting. And yeah, I will certainly get into the Toronto Irish Players next week, because I know a lot about the players.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's great news.
And since that time, of course, they've grown from strength to strength.
Absolutely, yes.
Sharing our heritage with the Toronto audiences for over 80 plays of classic and modern works from the Irish playwrights.
Okay.
So I feel they're truly recipients of the award, Ed.
Yeah, thank you, Kitty. I have to go.
Okay, Ed.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so we also have Eamonn's brother Donnacht on the line. Say hello, Ed.
Good morning, Donnacht, and thank you for calling in.
Alex, thank you for giving me the opportunity to thank the thousands and thousands of people that honoured Eamonn at the funeral. I was absolutely gobsmacked.
I bet you were surprised.
Absolutely gobsmacked. I had a different perception of Eamonn coming to Ireland, coming out to Canada. You know, I enjoyed Eamonn. I could write many books on Eamonn before he ever came to Canada.
I'm sure you could.
But I certainly could write bestsellers now, I can tell you. But I'm absolutely gobsmacked at the expression of sadness, togetherness, the way I could not believe the people, how they felt about Eamonn. My son, who is with me, Dara, is just mind blown. You've been so good to us out here, and Madeleine and Trassa and Rory, they should be so proud of their father and husband. I just want to say to thank you to Madeleine, who was a wonderful wife to my brother. He was a very lucky guy that he went to the University of Cork, met a wonderful lady who was a great wife but also a great friend, and she looked after Eamonn, and I know there was times when he needed looking after.
Yeah, I bet, yes.
You know, and I thank Madeleine sincerely, personally, and I know my sister and my two brothers back home will be getting a whole Smitty. I want to thank. He did a fantastic job with his technology.
Yeah, that was a wonderful touch. Eamonn was playing the piano all the time. People were in the lineup.
But not alone that, the way he set up, I think about 800 or 900 photographs of Eamonn. It was just incredible. And at one stage, you know, it wasn't a morbid removal. It was like a celebration of his life. Eamonn was a people's man, and I was talking to Anne Quinn yesterday at lunch, and Madeleine had said to Anne, you know, when Pat Quinn died, that they share their husbands with the public, and Madeleine reminded Anne that yes, we did, and I thank Madeleine so sincerely.
Thank you, Donna. And I'm not sure if we'll be seeing you before you say goodbye, but thank you again.
I'd like to thank Ed, who's picked me up at the airport, or down at the hotel down Westing, is bringing me up to the airport. I'm flying out tomorrow. And Henry Garrity, I hope he has a safe journey ahead of me. Poor Henry. I love Henry. A great guy.
Yeah. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye.
Donna, thank you so much for calling in. And of course, we have Ray Bassett on the line. Ed, I'm going to pass him over to you now.
Good morning, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you for calling in.
Not at all. I'm delighted to do anything, to recognise Eamonn.
Now, I know you worked very closely with Eamonn, and you got the Irish Canadian Immigration Centre up and running, and that was probably your greatest achievement together.
Well, when I arrived in Canada, one of the of the sort of objectives I was given was to try and open immigration for young Irish people, and I felt that, and so did Eamonn, that, you know, we just couldn't go and ask the Canadian government to let people in and then just leave them here. There was a responsibility on both the Irish government and on the local community to assist these people, and Eamonn had already started with irishjobs.ca, and between us we devised a scheme, and to be quite honest, nobody else could have carried it in Toronto except Eamonn, because he had such acceptance right across the community and such credibility.
Eamonn was the communicator. He got involved in something, and he completed the project.
He did, and as I say, he was reluctant, to be quite honest, to become the interim chairman, because, as you know, Eamonn had a lot of irons in the fire, and
yes,
he had a stressful job himself. But I implored him to be the first chairman. I said, you know, if this is going to get off the ground, it has to be somebody that, you know, will command respect right across the spectrum, because, you know, often in Irish organisations, the first item on the agenda is the split. And one thing that, you know, Eamonn had, there was a tremendous degree of respect for Eamonn right across the community, and he was known as a person who really didn't have an agenda other than helping the Irish community.
That's right. I remember you and I first met at the Hat House Cafe down in Toronto when you came to town, when Eamonn organised a welcome reception for you. And I tell you, sir, you have done a wonderful job for the Irish community. You got money from the Irish government. My God, that's a miracle these days. You did a wonderful job.
Well, I had a very willing ally in Eamonn. You know, Eamonn was sometimes Eamonn was a very cordial person, but he had a very, very good brain. And sometimes, you know, he cloaked that in humour and bonhomie. But he had a very shrewd brain, and he was to be honest with you, he was a rock of strength, and he was usually the first person I rang in Toronto if I wanted to bounce an idea off him. And the other thing I valued greatly from Eamonn was his candour, because sometimes he'd say to me, "That's not going to run." He had no qualms whatsoever about telling you the truth, and that's an invaluable assistance that you can get. And with his knowledge of the community, he knew what would run and what wouldn't run.
Okay, Mr. Ambassador, I thank you for your time today, and we have so many people calling in, but thanks again, we really appreciate it.
I'm too glad to do it.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. And, of course, on the line we have Paddy Dunn, and he's hanging out with Paul Farkas today. Paddy, are you there still?
Yes.
Good morning, guys. We want to hear from Eamonn's friends today, and thank you for coming in. I'm so glad we had time for you. Your memories of Eamonn?
Well, we're actually sitting at the Queensway office, hoping he's going to walk through the door any minute now, but we know that's not going to happen. We have just so many good memories of him. Every time he walked into the door, the mood changed around here. He just brightened up the whole place every time he came in. I'll keep this short, Ed, and because I know you've got a lot of people calling in. But as you know, down at the Galway Arms, there's a fair amount of Ukrainians that come in, and they just wanted to pass on their sympathies to the family. And Eamonn was a big supporter of theirs, and they actually did a little tribute to him and Tom McKean here on Monday, which was very kind of them. So one of the last things I said at the wake when I was leaving was that Eamonn would want everybody to carry on and be strong, and in order to keep everything going, and I think in this Irish community we need to rally around each other and be strong for each other and be there for each other.
Thank you.
I'm going to pass over to Paul Farkas now, Ed. Thanks again.
Thanks, Paddy.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hi, Paul.
Thank you.
Good morning to you, Paul. How you doing?
Hi, Ed. As well as can be. I just wanted to say a couple of things that were really close to my heart, and you know, there's so much involvement with cultists and the Ireland Fund and the Chamber and the CNE and the Galway Arms that he got me involved in so many things. But the CNE always comes to mind because growing up in Toronto, it was always close to my heart. And I remember just riding around in that golf cart with him all the time, and him watching me eat all those ice cream waffles and being astounded at how I could put away 5 or 6 of them in a half an hour, and knew the story behind it, and how he'd introduce me to people. You know, we could be in San Antonio or St. Louis or Ireland, and he would say, "This is Paul Farkas, and he's a Canadian of Irish-Hungarian descent, and he's the man that put the pest in Budapest." And then he'd laugh that mischievous laugh and have everybody going, and all of a sudden I developed another friend for life. And I think there's one thing that really comes to mind that really goes to the core of Eamonn and how he would help people in so many small ways. And there was a time during St. Patrick's Day a few years ago when my friend Brian Waters was here with his father Danny, who was 93 years old at that time. And of course we found him a seat, and Eamonn was playing the piano, and asked Danny if he'd sing, and he got up and did Danny Boy, didn't miss a beat. And you know, this is St. Patrick's Day in the Galway Arms. You could hear a pin drop. And then I watched Brian, his son, who was in his early 50s at the time, crying. And that was the emotion that came out. That was the helping hand that he always brought in and helped everybody with. And just a few weeks ago, it was Danny's 96th birthday. And of course, Eamonn was down in the U.S. and missed it. And he called me on the way back and he said, "Listen, I have to do something." And he brought that story back to the public's attention.
Thank you for sharing that today, Paul Farkas, and great to hear from you. We'll see you again soon. Okay, and also on the line we have standing by here Eddie Brett. I'll get him on here in one moment. Say good morning, Eddie Brett.
Good morning, folks, and thank you for having me say a few words about our great friend Eamonn.
Thank you, Eddie.
Many things come to mind about Eamonn, and certainly his ability to get things done was foremost. His tremendous ability to cut straight to the kernel and find out what the real problem is, of course, helped by his sharp intellect and his extraordinary wit to go with it, and above all his honesty in dealing with people and everything he's done. Surely it was Eamonn's generosity of spirit that opened the hearts and minds to all who knew him. His giving and helping others and his involvement in organizations and individuals was simply endless. What else can we say? Surely he was the glue that held so many things together, especially in the Irish community.
Thank you, Eddie. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
again,
folks, that's all the calls we can take today. We appreciate you calling in. Well, okay, Eamonn and my wife Patricia were founding members of the Shamrock Ski Club, another 10 years of Ceol Agus Craic. We were disappointed in 1988, however, when Lord Killallen refused to grant the Shamrock Ski Club permission to participate in Winter Olympic Games in Calgary. Eamonn was a great fan of anything Irish, and we would like to take a few minutes to thank Trish, Ed O'Brien and Paul Noonan for the wonderful music they performed at at Eamonn's funeral mass. And you know, it means something that an artist will include your name in a song, and Ed O'Brien included Eamonn in her song Mountains of Morden.
Oh Mary, this London's a wonderful sight, with the people here working by day and by night. They don't sow potatoes, nor barley, nor wheat, but there's gangs of them digging for gold in the street. At least when I asked them, that's what I was told. So I just took a hand at this digging for gold. But for all that I found there, I might as well be where the mountains of Mourne sweep down to the sea. I believe that when writing a wish you expressed as to how the young ladies of London were dressed. Well, if you believe me when asked to a ball, sure they don't wear a top to their dresses at all. Oh, I've seen them myself, and you could not in truth say if they were bound for a ball or a bath. Don't be starting them fashions now, Mary McCree, where the mountains of Mourne sweep down to the sea. You remember young Eamonn O'Loghlin, of course. Well, now he is here at the head of the force. I met him today, I was crossing the Strand, and he stopped the whole street with one wave of his hand. And as we stood talking of days that were gone, the whole population of London looked on. But for all his great powers, he's wishful like me to be back where the dark morn sweeps down to the sea. There's beautiful girls here, oh never you mind, with beautiful shapes nature never designed, and lovely complexions, all roses and cream. But O'Loghlin remarked, with regard to the same, that if at those roses you'd venture to sip, the colour might all come away on your lip. So I'll wait for the wild rose that's waiting for me, where the mountains of Mourne sweep down to the sea.
To give you the full radio experience of pouring a can of richer, fresher, smoother Guinness draft, we will employ the methods of theatre of the mind. Okay, imagine that these coconut shells are the hooves of horses representing the surging beauty of a pour of Guinness, and maybe this cowbell could represent the stunning cascade of smooth... forget it. Why not just pick up a pack of Guinness Draft on your way home and see for yourself? Guinness Draft. Drink Guinness responsibly.
We have to cut the Guinness community calendar of events short today. Here is an important announcement from the Pot of Gold Lottery. Today is the last day to buy tickets. Call Michael Hurley before 3 o'clock today at 416-233-4960. And the Cavan brunch at Sisters Restaurant on the 27th is cancelled. For more information, irishcalendarmag.com. We'd also like to say we're sorry to Shibeen Pub, Allen's and Doricos. We just don't have time today.
But of course, I'd like to thank you for your continued support, right, Ed?
Yes.
And that's it for your community?
Yeah, I would just want to say one thing. Smithy, William C. Smith, who's one of Eamon's best friends and who spent so much time working on the photographs for the visitation, has written a poem. There are good ships and there are wood ships, the ships that sail the sea, but the best ships are friendships, and may they always be. Thank you for the good times. Eamonn was a brother to Patricia and I and a number of other close-knit couples who have enjoyed our close friendship with Eamonn and Madeline over 35 years. Closer I may add than many families. We lived through the ups and downs of life. We celebrated all important occasions and functions, and we enjoyed every minute of it. It was Ceol Agus Craic all the way. And we will never forget you, Lockie. Our time is up today. This is Ed Leen along with Alex Young, thanking you for listening to Eamonn's show. Thank you for calling in, and our sincere apologies to the people who we couldn't accommodate. Ceol Agus Craic will be back next week. Now, with the help of Ciarán Mac Mahuna, we will all return with our friend Eamonn on this final flight to Ireland. Slán.
Anam Kunday, but there it is, the dawn on the hills of Ireland. God's angels lifting the night's black veil from the fair sweet face of my sireland. Oh, Ireland, isn't it grand you look, like a bride in her rich adorning? With all the pent-up love of my heart, I bid you the top of the morning. And ho, upon Cliona's shelving strand, The surges are grandly beating, and Kerry is pushing her headlands out to give us the kindly greeting. Into the shore the seabirds fly, on pinions that know no drooping, and out from the cliffs with welcomes charged, a million of waves come trooping. And doesn't old Cove look charming there, watching the wild waves' motion, leaning her back up against the hills and the tip of her toes in the ocean? I wonder I don't hear Shandon bells. Maybe their chiming's over, for it's many a year since I began the life of a western mover. For 30 summers a storm Machree, those hills I now feast my eyes on, ne'er met my vision save when they rose over memory's dim horizon. Even so 'twas grand and fair they seemed in the landscape spread before me, but dreams are dreams, and my eyes would ope to see Texas skies still o'er me. Now fuller and truer the shoreline shows. Was ever a scene so splendid? I feel the breath of the Munster breeze. Thank God my exile's ended. Old scenes, old songs, old friends again, the vale and the cot I was born in. O Ireland, up from my heart of hearts, I bid you the top of the morning.
Programming for our Irish community can be heard every Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon.
This is AM 1430, CHKT, Fairchild Radio, Toronto.
The following are programs for the international communities of Greater Toronto. Opinions and views expressed here do not necessarily represent those of this station.
Now, the Cantonese program on AM 1430 Fairchild Radio.
加拿大中文電台，中午12點。
陪伴你天天